Greetings and God bless. Sorry about the headphones. There's just a lot of noise going on. So I was wondering, so when I first came to Denver, I was in this Amtrak lounge area, and this black guy was calling somebody in Florida and saying that there weren't there weren't enough black people in Denver, and so I've been looking at different reviews of different places, and there will be black people complaining that there's not a majority or significant number of black people in that particular city, where whatever city they're complaining about. And it's interesting because what seems to matter in the black community is their type of person. Like they don't care about Asians, they don't care about Hispanics, they don't care about Middle Eastern people or whoever else I'm not putting in the mix. Like black people want their kind of type of black person. They're not interested in Africans being there. They're not interested in different, like they want their it's like they want their family or their community to somehow live where they're living, but they've relocated or whatever. And what's interesting is if we look at black communities, predominantly black communities, for me, Harlem was a predominantly black community, and I think Detroit, Chicago, and Oakland. And places in the South. So my question is, like Louisiana, so black people come to a white community, and then they're like, there's not enough black people. And those white people are stopping black people from being here. Now, from what I've observed, is that if somebody has enough money to buy a house, nobody cares. People will sell their house to Bill Gates, or whatever. I mean, to a pedophile. I mean, they like, and then though they leave the people who have to deal with the evil people that they sold their house to, like Californians that are trying to make everybody pedo or something like that, like, in the schools. So communities will it's so there's problems with people selling to people who think then that they are going to change politics. Like I watched City Nerd, and he was like, yeah, we need to send people to Wyoming to flip a couple seats, to make it a blue state, like liberal policies. And I suspect he's into the alphabet agenda. um, and that's how some people are thinking. And honestly, no conservative person, no patriots, like, we got to move to California. We got to change things in California. The people who are conservative patriots are in, like, Timbuktu, and just stocking up, and you know teaching their children self-defense or something like that. Like they're not trying to infiltrate and change legislation, and have an ex-convict sex predator take care of children and be the health advisor board of examiners for the medical system. I mean, like our country is, like our presidents, like our administration is doing, where everybody is trans or gay, that's in a high profile position in the United States. Um, so, so is it reasonable when a person of color moves to Wyoming or something, and they blame that community for the lack of black people? Now, if there was a cool place, if there was like the Michael Jackson Hall of Fame, or the best hairstylist nail salon school for black hair, like if there was something that was a magnet, black people would come. And it's not that white community's responsibility to make a whole bunch of black people move to the area. Some black people have common sense. They don't want to live somewhere where there's 10 feet of snow for 6 months out of the year, and it's the crazy traffic and drunk drivers and stuff like that. Like sometimes it's not that and I would say the community is not evicting black people. It's like the community is not ideal for what the average black person wants to deal with in terms of weather, in terms of shopping, in terms of entertainment. So, so is every single white community in the world, is every single white community supposed to have, ebony in every magazine rack and in every doctor's office? And is everybody supposed to know, you know, to have Michael Jackson playing in every store? You know, I mean, I really think that there's this entitlement of like, uh, you know, I haven't been made to feel special. I haven't been made to feel um, respected. And you know what? White people don't get respect. I don't get respect. What I earn it, sometimes I do, and even when I have proven myself, I don't. I don't necessarily get respect from my friends. I don't necessarily get respect from my family. I don't necessarily get respect from the person at the store. And I think, especially some black people, need to realize that when they're treated poorly, the person who's treating them poorly probably had a bad day. The person who's treating them poorly may not like them, but it's not necessarily because of their color. The person who's treating them poorly might actually be responding to the bad behavior of the person getting treated poorly. Like sometimes I'm annoying and people respond in an unpleasant way because I'm annoying. And I don't know what's up with the parenting, like how people have gone through life so entitled. And it's probably these liberal social workers enabling this mentality. White liberal people who have been told all their lives that they're a cancer on the planet and everything wrong happened because of their skin color. And that's not right. That's not fair. Irish people were enslaved and treated more disposable than African people. And they're white. There's plenty of white people who are being raped and abused and tortured, organ harvested, used in satanic ritual abuse. And, they're not, their white skin isn't protecting them from that. They get assaulted by police or traumatized by doctors, as does every demographic gets abuse. Like some folks, and I don't even think it's a black thing. I think there's some mentally ill or really dysfunctional people that happen to be black that are somehow being very influential, and somehow people who normally have common sense are not. They're not setting boundaries to this dysfunctional, toxic, racist, bigoted thing against white people, because white people are not here to cater to every Asian Indian, every Chinese person, every Japanese person's preferences, every Native American's preferences, every Honduran's preferences, every Colombian's preferences, every Mexican's preferences, every Venezuelan. And I mean, as you can see, there's thousands of cultures, and it is not up to each individual American to know thousands of cultures and how to make thousands of cultures feel good. And the the malignant narcissist, toxic black person will be like, well, I don't care about those, just me. And so then somehow every white American is supposed to coddle this toxic black person. And see, what's worse is that black people are not checking this toxic black person, because that toxic black person who's bashing white people, like those groups of toxic black people, in drag on TV shows, saying how evil white people are, how racist white people. Those people are the worst of black people who are trying to race bait uh, people who are easily hypnotized, because they're doing black magic. They're dressed as priestesses. Like when a man dresses as a woman, this is a priestess. This is a occult Babylonian pagan ritual for a man to dress as a woman. He's embodying something demonic, like a Jezebel spirit, and people get hypnotized. They get seduced, and they get brainwashed. But those very black people who are saying white people are racist and bad, and every single white person's evil. Black people don't even like those people who are speaking bad, so blatantly, or so generalizing, erroneously, so toxically speaking. Like there's a time and a place. Some people hate some people. Some Hispanics hate some Hispanics. Some white people hate some white people. Some black people hate some black people. Why is it that white people are not allowed to hate anybody? Like, why? Why? And don't tell me this privilege, because look around at your local homeless shelter. Look around at on your local sidewalks where the addicts and the mentally ill are, and you'll see a majority of these are white people. And so stop talking to me about privilege. So the thing is, these black people who are saying white people are so racist, those black people are not even liked by their own community. They, even like the trans people, the men who are invading women's privacy, invading girls' privacy, raping girls and women, and then they're saying, I'm a woman, so I can rape a girl and a woman, and it doesn't matter. I mean, anyways, these people who they make their victims the enemy, and the thing is, these people, if they didn't prey upon their victim, they would have no like, nobody would be their friend, nobody would interact with them. But people are so astonished, and it's kind of like it's shocking. So people are paying attention where this point goes, that, oh, it's girls and women. Oh, minor attracted people. So it's actually it's the child that seduced the adult. So it's the minor's fault. It's the little kid's fault that the guy rapes the kid. Like, it's this blaming the victim mentality, and trying to make the victim making the victim the predator. So that's what the pedos are doing. They're making the child the predator. That's what the bigots are doing. They're making the person calling the oppressor. They're making the oppressor they're the oppressor, like the person who's being a bigot, and they're trying to say their victim is the actual bigot. It's like this very Marxist, satanic, like pagan argument style, is blaming your victim, because this was done in, like, when Jesus was sent to the Roman, I think it was Herod, and the Pharisees and Sadducees said that, like, they blamed Jesus for the thing that they were doing. I can't remember the whole logistics of it all, but and these Pharisees and Sadducees, they were Babylonian, like they were Satanists, of a sort, because they knew he was God, but they wanted their power, and I suspect they were doing occult black magic things. They weren't really followers of the law. They were just actors. At least that's what it seems to me. I'm not a Bible scholar, so I haven't studied those people at great length. But, anyways, so I'm thinking that it wasn't just something that was practiced during the Pharisees, Sadducees time at the turn of the millennia. I'm thinking that, you know, like at the time of Nimrod with the Tower of Babel, they were trying to get, up to heaven, and they were interacting with the fallen angels. So this might be some sort of tactic that Satan has devised since the beginning of time, um, of blaming the victim. So yeah, and so about this like racism thing. So whites are expected to take care of everybody, do customer service to everybody, and I think like some white people are privileged and they've been brainwashed, and they I guess they have self-loathing or something, um, or they're just ignorant, and so they believe that everything is their fault. And then I think that there's some white people who are just afraid, and they're just like, okay, I'll say it's my fault, just leave me alone. And then there's like the people who are like, it's not my fault, get over yourself, and everybody demonizes that. And if we were to do like look at things from a healthy psychology, like looking at codependence and enabling, strictly speaking, um, catering to this like whatever you want, pedo, whatever you want, racist person that hates white people, like whatever you want, you can take away my car and my gas stove, environmentalist, because you want it that way, even though there's nothing that proves that your desire is going to work. And even though these environmentalists have their own jets and they're the worst cause of pollution, if we look at the agendas of who's funding all these environmentalists, like it's like this, it's a joke. Um, so so there's this burden that white people are supposed to cater to everybody, and then there's like these white people who are judging other people for not doing enough. Like I've had people tell me I should read about white fragility, and I'm like, and these are people that are rich and stuff, and they know my income, and my life has not been one of privilege, but still they are trying to tell me, like, I never learned how to drive. Like when you are somebody who never drives, doesn't know how to drive, you are in the like 1% of poverty in America. Like it's an extremely deprived quality of life when you don't know how to drive. And then people who are so flush with money and privilege and travel and family support, and they're also doing their whatever things that helps their nerves. And then they try to judge people who, as if I fly around, as if I have two homes, as if I, you know, um, as if I am telling maids what to do. It's like it's very strange because white people are also the enemy of white people. Like these progressive liberals who claim to be Christian, who claim to be, patriots or free thinking, or they want their guns, but they still want Bernie Sanders and to turn America into a socialist empire. So yeah, like white people are at fault for sure. And they're so easily, people are bribed. People are like, I want my quality of life, so I'm going to throw white people under the bus. I'm going to throw my country under the bus. I'm going to throw everybody under the bus because I want my paycheck, so that I can have my fancy home and have my fancy car and travel. Uh, so yeah, that certainly hasn't been helping the past decade or so. But back to this like racism thing. So something I notice is I do not see a lot. So I see mixed couples. I see is like a white and a black person, like a white guy and a person of color, let's say. And so I see a lot. I notice a lot of older white men, not that attractive, with a Hispanic wife or Asian wife, and I guess it's maybe more. Yeah, so maybe a little bit more Asian wife, but I do not see like a lot of American black men or American black women with like a black African partner or a Hispanic partner, like or an Asian. Like you rarely see those demographics, and I think like men go to other countries to find a bride, and any woman in a poor country is like, yes, I'll marry an American. Um, and, it's just an economic thing for them. And the man probably hopes it's love and it's economics. And, but, like, my point is that these black people, toxic black Americans, are trying to blame white people for their problems, their lack. And the thing is, if those toxic black people were in Africa or Asia or Arabia or South America, they still wouldn't. People they would still have the same problem. It's not that it's white people that's your problem. It's that there's human nature. Now, also, there's economic issues that's going on. There's just cultural problems that's going on in this country. So things are not like nobody's at their best. And of course, how can we expect toxic, malignant narcissists to to handle this better? They're clearly acting out now as a result of how toxic our cultures become. But this video isn't for those toxic people that are fomenting hostility. This video is for the people who have common sense and perspective and realize that, like, if we do look at somebody who's racist, I think it's more classism and or a personality issue. Like, because when I was really little in the 70s, people would be like, I met this one black person and they were so nice. And I think that's probably some black people have said that. I met some black people or interacted with some black people. They're very racist. That are racist without apology against white people. And that have no conscience, but somehow it's like white people can't be prejudiced. Now, if you're looking angry, if you're twitchy, if you're hollering and screaming, it doesn't matter if you're Hispanic, Asian, white, black, Arabian. Like, I'm gonna be freaked out. I'm gonna be afraid. I'm gonna cross the street. Like, there was this guy last week who was so offended that I was walking away when I saw him walking like across the street, and he followed me and he was like stalking me. And if that guy was just in my own head, he would see that weird white people I'm like avoiding. So if you're acting all freaky, like, don't expect me to be your customer service agent. Like, and that's what I keep on noticing is everybody expects if you are around that you do customer service. Like, if you're not, if you don't have your fancy like chihuahua and diamonds and fancy hair and like acting like queen, whatever, like they are expecting you to give them attention or give them directions or give them a smile. And you know what? It's not everybody's job to make you happy, to make anybody happy. It's not our job, you know. If we have a job, it's whatever our personal mission is. For me, it's like, let people know about Jesus, because that's what people are looking for. People are people who are putting this whole burden in. And so what people are saying is white people have benefited off of racism, and that's why they have to be punished every chance anybody gets. Now, again, uh, say that to somebody who's a quadriplegic and is a white person. Say that to that mentally ill white person, or that addicted white person, or that homeless white person. Tell them that they have privilege. All right. And, you know, tell that. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, no. Uh, people, the privilege that Black people are trying to heap as guilt upon white people who have been successful, it's not privilege. Those white people have had made good decisions. So racist Black people will say, well, that white person, their parents took care of them. There are plenty of parents that have taken care of their white offspring, and that white person became a prostitute or a drug addict or committed suicide or became a criminal, pedophile, whatever. Brought shame to their family. Like, look at Hunter Biden, all right? But so stop. Those people who are bigoted against white people and assume that having white skin means you have a path to becoming a millionaire. No, you don't. Or you don't have less or more of a chance to become a millionaire than a Black person who has knowledge. Because I'm a white person and I've never become a millionaire. I wanted to. I have white friends who wanted to become a millionaire, and they haven't been able to. They're barely able to pay the rent. So there's not this automatic shoe in, be a millionaire if you're a white person. And I don't know why nobody's told Black people this. I don't know why Black people keep on insisting, or even people of color, because an Asian classmate of mine from high school was assuming that my life was easy, a bed of roses, because I had white skin. And it's like, what reality are you in? And she was a millionaire, and somehow she was trying to say that my life was easy. And I'm like, what is? I mean, is everybody on drugs? Is everybody like living in an alternative reality or something like that? And I'm in this other reality? Because all you have to do is look at the poor people, look at the horror of those who are destitute around you, and you will see. Like, I don't see a whole lot of Mexican homeless people. I don't see a lot of Asian homeless people. The homeless people I see are white and Black American generally. Some Africans, and I know there's some Mexican homeless people, but I don't see as many as I do like Black and white people, Americans. So, yeah. So, and back to this racism thing. So when an African American goes to other countries, where, and how often do Black Americans go to Africa or Latin America? I doubt they go there, or Asia, or Arabia, like, because they probably will. They know that they're going to experience you want to experience racism, they'll experience racism there. So these Black Americans will bash America, but America's the nicest place, like the most welcoming, safest place, actually. And like I'm saying, is no Chinese man is marrying, like there's not a high number, not thousands of Chinese men marrying a Black woman, or a Black woman marrying or a Chinese woman marrying Black men. You know what I mean? Like China, India, Mexico, Arabia. There's not huge numbers of people from those countries marrying Black men and women in America. So I guess everybody's racist then against African American Blacks. So why is everybody kicking white people white Americans in the teeth. Who's the majority of people that are marrying black Americans? It's white people. So what is going on here? Like, and the thing is like, liberal Americans will totally jump on the bandwagon and say, yeah, American white people are not tolerant enough. Like, I think, and the only thing that will um, be sufficient of tolerance for these bigoted, hateful, uh, racists against white people is that whites be eliminated, erased. And I do think, and I include, yes, the toxic black people want white people to go away, but I think even the liberal whites think that white people should go away, even though they're white, even though they have white family members that they love, even though they may even have offspring. So I mean, what, like, it's like this mental illness. It's like this insanity because people, I guess people just like this black and white, cut and dry, and they think they're being noble. Like that's like this anti-white sentiment. Whoever it is, they think they're being noble when they're not, because they haven't even thought this through. I mean, I haven't even thought this through to this degree until I was rambling on here. But yeah, so and it's like insanity for a white person to be like, yeah, white people are cancer, and everything's white people's fault, and we shouldn't exist, even though I'm alive and I have children, grandchildren, but white people shouldn't be here. But so what that means is that person's like, well, me, my liberal left that I am, so I should be able to be alive, and my children and my grandchildren and my loved ones should be alive. But other white people, like Trump supporters, should be dead. Conservative patriots should be dead. Poor white people that don't use birth control, they should be dead. And that is, I'm pretty sure that's what liberals think, you know, and that to me is pretty racist. So, what do you guys think? God bless.